This video is sponsored by Saley. Canada is the second largest country in the world by landmass, and despite having only 40 million people, it has a massively outsized global impact. Firstly, our flag is objectively the best humanity has come up with so far,
true.
and the only one that rivals us is when Japan powers up for 2 episodes and then sends their navy to commit war crimes. Secondly, ask any American to name one non-economic metric that America does better than Canada, and they'll say, what's a metric? Most importantly, America likes to brag they put man on the moon, but Canada put women in leggings. Welcome to the 21st century. Now, even though Canada is known as the Great White North, if you look at the demographics of Vancouver, I'm in fact a minority. Despite my oppression, I live in harmony with other people, and Canada is a melting pot of cultures. From the West Coast to the East Coast, you have an enormous diversity
I'm
of
not
people.
going to talk about that.
To illustrate the point, here we have the newlywed and nearly dead, then we have gays and Asians, then it goes Timu, Texas, Earth is flat, definitely flat, milk in a bag, gays, lobsters, potatoes, leprechauns.
You know what? I'll take that. I was gonna talk some shit, chat, but you know what, chat? I think French is perfectly fine. I'll take the title. It's all good.
All the other territories are climate change insurance. Although it has a lot of similarity.
Leprechauns, true. 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 Also a lot of crabs, but it's fine.
Leprechauns. All the other territories are climate change insurance.
Also, chat, why gays and Asians anyway? Why is that? Because it's close to California?
Climate change insurance. Although it has a lot of similarities, Canadian culture is distinctly different from the US. As an example, Canada doesn't have the NFL, NBA, or MLB.
Oh, we have the CFL.
We just have the NHL, which stands for no
What about the CFL?
houses left. While we've tried nothing to solve this, we're all out of ideas. Because us cool Canadians on the West Coast who have pine trees and somewhat acceptable weather don't relate so much.
The CFL is where they take American football, right? But instead of stalling for fucking 4 downs, they only get 3 of them. So they actually make plays that are risky and make the game interesting and spicy to watch and play. And it actually makes the game more dynamic and makes people actually take some form of risk in the game instead of fucking stalling the fuck out for the ads to play this fucking piece of shit game trash.
To everyone in the lame eastern provinces who have maple trees and funny accents, the Pacific Northwest has previously thrown around the idea of creating our own independent sovereign territory called Cascadia, which would mostly include British Columbia, Washington, and Oregon. The idea came about when we asked ourselves if an economy could be sustained purely by fishermen, lumberjacks, and pride parades. And while haters say that men shouldn't be in women's sports, no other country is ever beating us at Olympic drag. Sometimes English-speaking Canadians get a little sad because we don't have much in our culture that is distinctly Canadian and not influenced by the United States.
Also, it's crazy that he makes this video and he puts this dog shot. This is not a poutine. The gravy has fucking lumps. This is disgusting. What the fuck is this? Awful.
States. But that's exactly the beauty of it. One of the best parts of being Canadian is traveling abroad, and when someone asks you, so where in the United States are you from? You get to experience the joy and relief on their face when you say you're from Canada. The fact of the matter is that Canadian and American culture are deeply intertwined. You might be European and think, you North Americans are all the same. You think life is only about working and making more money so you can consume more. Over here, we know what truly matters in life. €2 wine, 3 girlfriends, 1 passport. Easy to say when you have time off to protest for more time off, but this jab doesn't faze us Canadians. Americans work long hours, complain a lot, and make a lot of money, whereas Canadians work long hours. Similarly, the moment a Canadian goes to Europe and is like, wait, everything's closed from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. and every Sunday? Every street is one way? Why does it look like they just tacked on traffic lights to 300-year-old cobblestone roads? Where's the street parking? Where are the highway systems to connect?
Well, it's called protection of the culture, and it's made so that the buildings don't get fucking broken down and look like all homogeneous, and actually save the history of it.
To Costco. We then suddenly become aware there isn't a single IHOP, Tim Hortons, Denny's, or 24/7 drive-thru literally anywhere, and we realize this isn't work-life balance. This is some bullshit, and we stand with the Americans as our own brethren who especially do not tolerate being hungry under any circumstance. When you ask someone to think of things that are for real Canadian and not American at all, there are only a few things that come to mind. Beavers, moose, hockey, poutine, Rush, Nanaland, the big comfy couch, Terrence and Phillip, Little Bear, Franklin, this cancer patient, both.
Oh my god, tell him.
Brian's and Nelly
Chat, I couldn't fucking stand this bitch ass Balder. I could not, chat. It's one of the only shows that you just want to punch the main character, this fucking bitch, Caillou, mother sucker. Always complaining like some hoes for no reason.
Otto, Nathan Fielder, the Trailer Park Boys, the Scourge of the Earth, and of course maple syrup. But what truly defines Canadian culture is how we measure things, as we're not just bilingual in both imperial and metric, but we also just make up measurements as we go along. People and objects are weighed in pounds, but not food. We measure that in grams and milliliters. We measure alcohol in mils and liters, but a bottle of gin is a 2/6 and a glass of wine is in ounces. A person's height is measured in feet and inches, and short distances are also in feet. But if something is at the end of the block, we'll tell you it's like 50 meters away. Only old people use yards and miles. But that's okay, because all of us take pride in being able to poorly convert it to metric for you. Long distances are not measured in kilometers or miles, but are instead measured by the time it takes you to get there.
But we all agree on. I was about to say we all agree on this.
Temperature is measured in Celsius because Fahrenheit just makes no sense at all. This excludes the oven.
I'm okay with that.
Should obviously be in Fahrenheit, as we all know Celsius only goes up to 100. A major difference between Canada and the
US. Why is he cooking so much with this? Hold on.
This is our slang. For example, what do you call this? We call this pop, while you guys call it soda. You call this a beanie, and we call it a toque. We would say this is a washroom, you would call this a restroom. We would call this an ambulance, while you call it filing for bankruptcy. We like to say that went from 0 to 100 real quick, while you say 32 to 212. While Canadians are known for saying sorry a lot, it's not because we're apologizing at all. We use it for every situation an American would say, excuse me, pardon me, huh, or oops. Trying to move past someone in the way, that's a sorry. Bumped someone accidentally, that's a sorry. What did you say? That's a sorry. Spilled your own drink? That's a sorry.
True.
Wait, that was your land? That's a sorry. For some reason, Americans find our words for things cute and endearing, while we're annoyed because that's just how we talk. I thought Americans were just giving us the big brother treatment until one time an American came into the souvenir store I worked at when I was 18 and was like, help me out with your Monopoly money, I can't make sense of it. And while people still say that all the time about our fabulous and indestructible bills, he instead dropped a handful of coins onto the table and then was like, okay, this one's a nickel, this one's a dime, and this one's a quarter.
Yeah.
We have the same sort of thing back home, but what on earth are these things?
Chat, these are cool though. Chat, come on. Chat, do you guys not like this? The $2? The $2 is aura. I always love the $2. I think it's so cool.
Okay, so that one's a loonie. A what? Oh my gosh! Wow, what's that worth? A dollar. It's got a loon on it. It's like a duck sort of thing. That's why we call it a loon. Oh, I haven't seen that before. You Canadians really are something, aren't you? Okay, then what's this one worth? $2? What do you call this one? A double loon?
So where I'm from, we don't use those, by the way. We don't use any of those acronyms or whatever.
And I was like,
does not use those terms.
I don't want to tell you anymore. Anyway, before you ask, yes, we do throw them at strippers, and yes, they do.
Yo, we call it une pièce and deux pièces. Une pièce, deux pièces. It's that simple. It's not that fucking.
If you've ever wondered why your girlfriend always has random bruises on her legs and she says she doesn't know how they got there, now you know. At the end of the day, there's really only one way for Canada to be better than it is, which is if Air Canada were replaced by literally any other airline. Besides that, only a few suggestions have been worth considering, like when Trump threw around the idea of the United States becoming part of Canada. While this would increase the amount of provinces we have to 60, it would require some sacrifices. First of all, the force field we built on the southern border would have been for nothing. Secondly, guns would be everywhere, particularly in my possession, causing a threat to general safety. While Americans would finally get universal healthcare, that would bankrupt us all. And while the little morsel of British education we still have in us would be cancelled out by the American education system, I'd finally be able to get a good brisket. All in all, not a bad trade-off for America to be run by Canadians from here on out. Now, if you're someone who's been threatening to move to Canada every 4 years if the guy you don't like gets in, you're cooked when I get in and there's nowhere to go. At least nowhere that's covered by your cell phone provider's roaming plan at a reasonable price, which is why today's sponsor Saley has you covered. If I were the dictator of Super 180, other than saving money, you avoid the risk of losing your original SIM card if you want to try to finesse the locals for a physical SIM, which I have personally come.
The $100 bill sounds like a maple. That's just untrue. All the fake news shit chat about all that is fake. None of the money it smells like dog shit is what it smells like. It smells disgusting. Yeah, when you have a lot of bills stacked together, it might smell like some form of sugary thing. It's like a sugary plastic dog shit. It's disgusting. Chad, this is the sunfish. This is the sunfish. We've seen a video about the sunfish before. I'm not gonna watch it.